What's up, Caden? How are you, buddy? Can you hear me all right? Caden, I don't know if you heard me say hello. I hope you're doing well. Good seeing you. But can you hear me all right? I had some computer issues for the last half hour. Hey, Jesse, good. Jesse B. There's Josie. We missed you last week. Josie, how are you? Can you guys hear me? Please let me know because I had some computer issues at the beginning. Hey, Shari. All right, perfect. Thank you, guys. What's up, Brian Mons? How are you? Thomas, how are you? What's up, Motorboat? My throat's bothering me. It's been a long week. What's up, Glenn? How are you? Yeah, I had some computer issues. My computer shut down and wouldn't turn on. And I'm like, oh my God, please don't do this on my live stream night. What's up, Nick Hendricks? How are you, buddy? Hey, Troy. Hey, Grandma Sasquatchin. What's up, DB Mac? Janet Ramsey, how are you? James Kaufman. Kane M, how are you, my friend? Lake 17. Richard Windsor. I got a 6-pack of Coke and I'm feeling fine. Ain't nothing better than freaking glass Coca-Colas. I don't know. It was from yelling. I had a long week of yelling at children. You know, they should make everything, like all soda should come in glass again. You know, fuck plastic. What's up, Pine Knot? How are you, buddy? Brian Beard, how are you? Fuck plastic. Who cares about tin? You know, glass is like, it stays cold. It tastes better. You know? What's up, Gary? Welcome to the first live. I'm glad that you're here with us. Nicholas Carroll, how are you, my friend? Mega and Dis, and Sonic Fox. And Chevy is the best. That's right, Ford sucks. What's up, Claire Harris? How are you? I do have a shitload of awesome experiences tonight. I have got 2 amazing lot lizard stories tonight. I'm so glad that you're here this week, Josie. I missed you. I really did. I was like, Caden's here, but where's Joe? What's up, Poppy from Sweden? Wesley September, I am glad that you're here with us. So we have one more live stream next weekend. And then I think the way the doctor said, so I got a lot of texts and emails this week from people that had my phone number asking if there was going to be a live stream. And I had my sedation appointment where I had to fill out all the paperwork and stuff. But yes, there will be a live stream next weekend. I'm wondering on the 7th how I'm going to pull it off. If I can, I will. If I can't, I won't. Tom Medeski. Yes, Steph usually pops in every once in a while in our live stream. Winter Sky, how are you? Christy Strom, how are you? Richard Windsor, I got 2 awesome lot lizard stories. Richard Minnick, thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate the love. Jay Cortez, I am scared as shit. The way they described surgery. Hey, Janie, how are you, dearie? How are you? Robin, how are you? The way, DB Mac, I'll do it in a little bit. I promise. I know it's your favorite thing of the life, but my throat's a little sore tonight, but I will, I promise. The way they describe the surgery is just outright scary. It is terrifying. Mert, what's going on? So I guess Joseph Cannon, thank you so much. Thank you. I guess what they do is I got to take like this Valium pill before, the night before, and then another one. And then when I get there, they're going to do like, I'll take another one there. And then I was like, well, what about the Novocaine? Am I going to feel the Novocaine? And they're like, you're going to feel the pain. Yep. And I'm like, really? And I'm like, for real? You can't just give me some nitrous before you start poking me in the mouth? Like, just fucking give me some nitrous, baby. And they're like, you're going to have needles on the roof of your mouth. And then they're like, your lip, your lower lip might twitch for the rest of your life if surgery goes bad. And I'm like, come on, dude. I'm like, my lip? But whatever. You know, Cortez, you can't put shit off though, especially with like your arteries and stuff. The reason why I don't want to put this off is because I'm like, I don't want to get an infection. And, you know, you get an infection in your mouth and you're dead. So I was like, well, fuck it. Oh, Janie, you weren't here last week. Oh, you left early. What's going on, Jim Baker? So because I got veneers 10 years ago, and they ground all my teeth to little points and then built the veneers on top of them, they have all started going bad. All the roots are like dead. So I'm getting them all pulled, and then I'm getting 10 implants on the top, or 10 anchor points on the top, 10 on the bottom. So like the 6 teeth right here will be all individual. 6 teeth on the top will be all individual. And then the back parts will be like 2 or 3 at a time. But it's scary. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Mammy J. You had pancreatitis? Oh, I'm glad that you're here with us. I hope that you're doing better, Josie. We missed you last weekend. Yeah, Kane, it's the way to go. Put off skin cancer, so now I can get nose constriction. Live and learn. Yeah, exactly, Mert. You can't put shit off. Hamilcar, how are you? Welcome to our live. I'm glad that you're here with us. Crypto Works, how are you, my friend? Glad you're here with us. Savage Lunatic. Kakalina, how are you? Randall Kennedy. Larry Lindman. Jeff dressed like my dad before he was about to tell me my yard sucks. Oh, fuck. It's getting hot in here already. Lindman's fucking funny. I love Lindman. There we go. I knew I was going to drop it. Thank you, John, and welcome seeing, or good seeing you, John. And Arthur, how are you? Arthur Oster, Andy Davis, how are you, my brother? Where is Aramic? Aramic always pops in like kind of like in the DL, you know. He's like, you know, I'm a little nervous about it, Pine Knot. But the thing that I'm dreading is the goddamn payments now. Like, I hate payments, but I hate being in debt. You know I don't smoke pot, Jim Baker. You just asked that question to ask that question. What's up, Charlie Knight? How are you? Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. We won't have a live stream until the Saturday after Thanksgiving. Why wouldn't they? Because it's $4,000 extra for the Aspire, it's called Aspire. And I mean, I'm already paying $50,000. They screwed me with the interest. It's 19% interest for 10 years. I'm like, I figured it out. It's like something like $96,000 I'll be paying these cocksuckers for. Ridiculous. There's Steph. What's up, my friend? How are you? But you know what? The way I look at it is at least I'll be healthy. I'll be healthy. And did the Incubus lube? Does that include lube? Oh, I thought you said Incubus. No, but I asked the dentist that. I said, and he didn't know how to take my humor. So like I'm sitting there and I'm just like, and I'm like, so what happens? Like I go, I'm going to be awake. And he's like, yes. And the receptionist, or not the receptionist, but his like assistant was sitting next to me. And I'm like, so I go, am I going to wake up? And I go, my pants are going to be around my ankles or something. And he's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I'm really nervous and I'm only kidding. I'm like, I'm really sorry. That was so inappropriate. You should have seen his face. He's like, what are you talking about? Like, fucking butt hurt, bro. Butt hurt. Like, I'm going to be on the 5th. I'm going to wake up and I'm probably going to be like this. Hey, Tina Marie, how are you? Christopher Hickey, how are you? Sonia, hello. Kathy, how are you? About 15,000 bill. No, it's about 50. It's like 96,000 with the interest. And I don't think Larry Lindman, thank you so much, brother. And I don't think you can claim bankruptcy on medical bills. I contemplated that. I was like, no, I'm just teasing. I'm only teasing. Larry or Steph, I bet you. Wow, that's crazy. What's up, Nicola? What's up, Chicken Man? How are you? All right. So we'll start this fine day off with a very interesting experience. When I was 16, my family and I moved to a small town near Mount Shasta, California. The house we moved into backed up to a canyon, which was essentially the foothills of Shasta Trinity National Forest that encompasses the area. At the time, I had no idea as to the mythological lore with which the region is embedded. It didn't take too long for me to recognize that there was a strange energy to this place. The strangely mysterious and appetizing ambiance was met with my insatiable curiosity for the unknown. Anyhow, one normal summer night, something strange happened. At that point in my life, I used to, unjustifiably sleep with the TV and fan on every night. Also, for a matter of setting the context, I also kept my door shut at night. I awoke abruptly in the middle of the night to a pitch black room and complete silence. The TV off, the fan powered down, my door wide open. Everything was completely silent. I peered out my window, which was adjacent to my bed, and noticed that the lights were powered down in the entire area. There was apparently a regional power outage. It was at this moment that the faintest bit of moonlight illuminated what appeared to be a 7 to 8 foot tall thing standing in my doorway. I was immobilized by its baffling presence. Quickly, after recognizing the sheer strangeness of this fast sequence of events, I rose to my feet and approached this thing to the best of my ability. As I got closer, I could see that this thing had a large head, an unusually thin neck, and no noticeable facial features. It was as though my operating system, that is, my brain, could not calculate what I was seeing. The shape of this thing's head and its height, as well as the lack of normal facial features, was such that I couldn't reduce it to a human description. It was in a category of its own. As it finally got about 2 feet from it, it stretched its anomalously lengthy arms towards me. That doesn't mean. It began to sway almost in a hypnotic manner. I vividly remember it panting heavily at me and moving its arms in a jarring movement back and forth. Looking back on it, it reminds me of how a praying mantis makes its movements. Something like that. The last thing I do remember was trying to yell out to one of my parents, but they could not hear me. The odd part of this was that both of my parents are light sleepers. It was as though my voice was muzzled somehow. Anyway, as I was trying to yell out, I was also trying to push through this thing to get out of my room, but to no avail. At last, I broke through what can only describe as resistance, and the figure vanished, and I fell through the doorway. My mom rushed down the hallway and asked what happened. I was speechless, dumbfounded, and unable to sleep for a couple of days. Not too long after that night, the level of high strangeness in my life began to accelerate rather quickly. Within the following decade, I had experienced dozens, if not hundreds, of UFO sightings, orb encounters, strange experiences in the woods with perhaps Fey-like elements, and other seemingly invisible entities. I also began having fairly regular prophetic dreams for whatever reason. It feels as though my experience with that humanoid in my doorway marked the start of a series of strange events that have followed me into my adulthood, almost as though it had an impact on my capacity to perceive certain things. My frequency was altered that night. So, do you guys want to see something funny? Johnny Midnight, what's going on? All right. Now, I swear to God, I almost had a heart attack. Okay. I am not a vain person. I don't care about what people or what I look like usually. I usually just go out in slippers and like sweatpants and stuff when I go to the store and stuff. But my hair, I love my hair. That's the one thing I love is my fucking hair. I went to get a haircut yesterday. Okay. So I go in and I tell the barber, I said, listen, I said, what we're going to do is we're going to cut a little bit off the side. I want to keep a part, but I want to have it a little shorter than normal. And then I'm going to just not get a haircut for like 6 months and grow my hair back. I said, but I just want to have it be able to be parted. So like max this long and just clean, right? I said, I just don't want to mess with anything for the next couple of months. So I'm sitting there and where my natural part is, I wasn't paying attention. He shaved that part. So he shaved where my natural part goes. And it looked good when he put product in it because I wasn't looking at the mirror. So he put product in it and it looked all right. And I was like, all right, we can deal with this. It's a little short. So last night I take a shower and I get out of the shower and I'm looking at my hair and I'm like, what the fuck did this guy do to my hair? He like shaved part of here. I go, I have this. I go, this is sticking up like this. I'm like, what the fuck happened? Are you ready? My hair's gone. Fuck that guy. He did me dirty. My butthole was fucking bleeding. That's what he did to me. It'll grow back. Fucking Mons. Oh my God. I know it doesn't look bad, but like my dad's like, I showed my dad because I walked in the house and he could see that it was cut from the back and he goes, "Oh, you got a haircut?" And I like looked at him and I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Oh, it looks good." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" How did he? No. I ended up when I got out of the shower and I realized how bad he did it. So what happened was I shaved it when I got out of the shower and realized how bad he messed it up. What's up, Daryl? So what he did was my part was this way, right? But he shaved right here. So like there was no side part, like there was no hair on this side. So like it was just all fucked up. And now I have darker hair right here, but it's all the same length, but it looks weird because I have salt and pepper hair. So I'm gonna have to wear a hat for like fucking months. I know Andy Davis. I do. I do. Mert. He is my regular barber. He is my regular barber. And I'm like, by the way, I found him. I'm never going back to him again. Ever. Ever. And then my daughter Isabel goes, "You should shave your beard again, Dad." She goes, "Then you'd look really funny." I'm like, he probably was stoned. He probably was stoned. I just showed you my hair. I'm not showing it again. It's fucking embarrassing. Alan Howell. I like actually what I did do is I listened to Pantera and I pretended I was Phil last night. Pretty good. Pretty good. My tattoo guy is always stoned. Oh my God. I think he was jealous because he doesn't have good hair. His hair is weird looking. He's like one of those dudes that has like the sporadic, and his hair looks like my nut hair, for God's sakes. Like he looks weird. His hair is just like this, like weird looking fucking, I don't even know. I'm not even going there anymore. It'll grow back. That's the way I look at it. You know what? Fuck it. It'll grow back. Whatever. What's up, Delirium? How are you? I should, Shannon. I should. Well, Daryl, he it wasn't like this. I had to make it like this because if I left it the way he did, it would have grown weird. Like it would have grown like this side of my head would have been longer and this side would have been like shorter. And it would have went, I just would have looked like really weird. So now I'll just look really weird for like a month and then it'll grow and I can put a little pomade in it and go boop like that and look like a little fuck boy. Alan Howell. Thank you. Thank you. Delirium, yes. There's my haircut. There. Since everyone wants to fucking see it, there we go. No, I got a better hat for tonight. Hang on. All right. Now we're better. Now we're better. I'm not bald. George Coker, shut up. Fucking dink. Halfway to supercuts. It is hat weather, so I'll just wear hats, you know. We're gonna have snow. Larry Hart, how are you, buddy? Haven't seen you in a while. Nice seeing you. We're gonna have snow soon, so I came out looking like a dick for a rug man. Fuck you. I'm just kidding. Jim Baker is here somewhere. He's here somewhere. He's probably fucking getting stoned now and laughing at me. I did pull a Britney Spears. I said, oops, I did it again. I played with myself. All right. So, sometime in late summer, it was getting close to fall months around late September. My spouse and I were going through hard times then, living homeless in the woods in Norman, Oklahoma. The exact location, I believe, was on West Robinson Street, right next to Crest Grocery Store. We picked the location. We picked the location conveniently located next to the grocery store for when we could get food. There was also hotels nearby when we wanted to shower up and could afford a hotel room with what money we got when we got paid. Legacy Park was across the street, so we could use the bathroom there as well. Anyway, we stayed in those woods for a couple of months before we saved enough money to get a bus ticket out of town. My spouse would hear things at night in our tent before he would come to walk me back from work. It sounded like a woman talking. I thought he might be hearing echoes of voices from walkers across the street in the park or the store, but he acted like it was right behind him near our tent. We were pretty far in the woods because at one point we weren't the only people in there. We wanted to be far enough away from the other homeless people to give them privacy and us as well. Plus, we had a looter before who had gone through our tent, so we were always trying to be unseen, more or less. We had been seeing a large owl that used to sit right above our tent, and in my tribe, the owl is a messenger, and it's usually a sign of death or a bad sign. It would stare down straight at us. Some nights it would just sit there for a real long time. I used to open the flap of the window in the tent and just see it staring down at me. It kind of freaked me out. Then it would fly away, and the sound of its wings was very loud. For a week or so, it would come almost every night and sat in our tree we were under. Not too long after that was when the scariest night we had experienced happened. We also burned all our trash. My husband would burn it away from the tent, so we had a little pathway. There was other junk there from what people had left behind. Well, he was just getting done burning our trash one night in the junk pile, putting the fire out. There was this huge cedar tree that was behind him, and its limbs up at the top started to break as if something was crashing down above his head. It really scared him, and he moved out of the way, but there was nothing there that he could see. Right after he heard that, he was looking around. Something started chasing him out of the area. I had been sitting in our tent around the corner. I suddenly heard running feet go past our tent, and then it stopped. There was nothing behind our tent, though, except for thick brush and thorns. And if anything ran in there, they would have gotten stuck, or we would have heard the leaves crunching. I thought it was my husband. I yelled out to him, kind of laughing, "What are you doing?" But there was no response. Then, immediately after, I see my husband running toward the tent down the path from around the corner where the trash pile was. I got freaked out then because I wondered what just ran past the tent and stopped. It sounded like it was bipedal, like a person running. I tried to explain it away as possibly a raccoon, even though the only animals we had seen was one armadillo, and these footsteps were heavy, like a person or persons running. Anyway, when he got toward the tent, he was yelling at me to hurry and open the door of the tent. I had never seen him that spooked. He said something was chasing him just then, and it was big. I asked him if he had seen it. He said he didn't, but it was dark, and he felt like it was behind him. I seriously, for a minute, thought there was some crazed crackhead running loose in the woods, especially when the cops had just been there a month before looking for a suspect that ran into the woods after breaking into a nearby store. After we both were in the tent freaking out, we heard a loud, high-pitched sound. It sounded like it was near our tent. Then, in an instant, it's echoing toward the hotel in the other side of the woods. It sounded as if it was flying away and screeching. You could hear tree limbs cracking as it did this. It was the strangest experience that has ever happened to me in the woods before. And I have lived in Oklahoma, Kansas most of my life. That sound was like a high screeching whistle from low to high. I can't reenact it just as I heard it. Something loud like thunder or a siren of some sorts. It wasn't like any bird I had ever heard either. I even remember looking at various birds and owls to see if it was some kind of bird that made that sound, but to no avail. After that night, we hadn't really experienced anything else. We spent most of our money on hotel stays. We were only staying in the tent as little as possible until we moved out of town for good. So I thought about that experience and I was like, all right. So when he was burning trash, like maybe here's just like a little thing. They're living in the woods, right? An owl, a large owl is watching them. And in her Native American customs, the owl is a messenger of death or like an omen. But what if it was kind of like a guardian of the woods and it really didn't like them burning their garbage, and that was what he heard in the tree behind him. But what that doesn't explain the running that was before he came to the tent, because he heard something chasing after him, but then there was running before him. So it all doesn't make any sense for it to be something like that. I don't know. I think it was like some really fucked up shit. Whatever it was, I think did not like the fact that they were burning garbage in the woods, disrespecting nature. I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? Truth Quest, there you are. You're back. Darren K, I do have those photos. They're crazy as fuck, dude. Truth Quest, we missed you for 2 weeks. Where have you been? Shackle Neck, what's going on? I was here, just YouTube shadowed me. Okay. Well, I'm glad that you're able to talk now. Flatardo Van Prone. I fucking love that name. Flatardo. Fuck yeah, that's awesome. What's up, Five Rings? Did you get my email? No, I didn't, Aramic. I've never heard Sasquatch copy voices, but you know, I've never had a Sasquatch experience though. Look like clowns. Not that I've ever heard, COVID denier. You know, where is it? Crazy chicken guy. I was gearing up my backpack and I decided that this is going to be my next daily carry. It's a cold steel. It's a very thick tang. Very nice knife. Like it a lot. I like that back piece where you can. Thick tang. No, I said thick tang. It is quite the hefty knife. It is quite balanced. It's a cold steel. It's cold steel. I like it. Yeah, they are good knives for their money. But I was trying to figure out. I don't want to carry my I wanted to change my knife, and I don't want to carry the Caltech anymore. So I decided that this is going to be the way to go. So my new backpack gun. My new backpack gun. My new backpack gun. So I just put that in my backpack, and then when I get into the woods, take it out and be good to go. No, Shari, it is definitely not. Definitely not. Oh, I'm so sorry for you, Jane. They are not allowed in my neck of the woods anymore. It's not heavy at all, big shooter. It's not heavy. It's just a PC carbine. Absolutely. Good call. Good call, Nicholas Carroll. I just don't want to carry the Caltech anymore. Yeah, it's a 9mm, but it's gonna have the Fort Scott munitions in it. No, it's definitely not a 22. Maybe Jerry Burns. That's just to have it for my backpack. Ryan McChesney. Well, see, with the Fort Scott munitions tumble upon impact, they killed a bear with one shot, and they killed a boar with one shot. So if I empty the mag on it, I'd be okay. And then I'm just gonna run like fucking hell. Johnny Ohm, thank you so much. Rusty Durbin, I got bigger than that. I just don't need to carry bigger than that. You know, I don't believe the old tales. So you never hear the old tales of, remember like back in the day, I shot a Bigfoot and I shot a Dogman with a fucking 308 and it didn't stop. The fuck it's not stopping. The fuck it's not stopping. Like, and if I really wanted to stop it, I would take my 4.58 SOCOM from Tony Ramore and just shoot it right in the cock. Sorry. Daryl Williams. That's my next rifle I want to get. I want to get the M1A SOCOM 2. I love that gun. My grandpa had some high points. I don't smoke, Flatardo. I don't smoke. I'm sober for 9 years. I don't do anything. The Mini 14. I like the Mini 14. I like it. The 18 Mini 14. I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind just the real like M1 Grand, but I definitely want to get the SOCOM 2. I love that gun. DL Hemingway, how are you? I haven't seen Aramik yet. Have you? SOCOM 308, baby. Exactly. The SOCOM 2 has a 16-inch barrel, Adam Condon. Aramik, there you are. I have one waiting for you, my brother. Thank you so much. Larry Lindman and Aramik and everyone else. This one goes out to the ultimate Mothman denier, Aramik. Once, when my family and I were living with my aunt and her family in McMinn County, Tennessee, my brother and older cousin swear they saw a Mothman. My uncle, my aunt, my mom were all going to the store around 8 p.m. one night. I wanted to go, but I didn't want to be wait. My aunt, uncle, and mom were going to the store at around 8 p.m. one night, and I, not wanting to be stuck at the house with my brother and male cousin and two friends, went with them. We had gone at most 2 hours. When we pulled in the driveway, all four boys sprinted from the house, terrified. Two of them had shotguns, and immediately our parents demanded to know what happened. This group of boys, ranging from 10 to 14, all in tears, all trying to explain at once. Eventually, we got them to calm down enough to understand what they were saying. For reference, my aunt and uncle's home is in a very rural area of the Appalachian Mountains. They have a bit of woods and a creek we can see from the back porch. And there's a fire pit beyond the porch, between the porch and the creek. Anyway, the boys said they were opening the sliding door and sticking their feet out because they wanted the breeze. Then my brother noticed two red glowing eyes in the dark. All being hunters, they hadn't frightened at first, thinking that it may be an animal, but when they looked harder, they knew that it was not. It was shaped like a large man. It had casually leaned against the tree and was standing next to the tree and waved. The boys started to freak out, and right before two of them went to get the guns, it jumped, revealing large wings that spanned the width of its arms and flew mere feet above the ground to stand by the fire pit. My brother said he didn't move, and he and this creature locked eyes. He was paralyzed in fear. By the time our cousins and their friend came back with dual shotguns, it was gone. My brother said it was there, and then in a blink of an eye, it was not. They took this as a good sign and closed the back door and huddled in the living room until we got back. Now, mind you, these boys have grown up in these woods all of their lives and have gone hunting with their dads most of their lives as well. My brother and my cousin have actually killed deer at that early age. Pretty much any animal they could kill when they were younger. These boys were mortified. I am not sure if any of them even slept that night or a night after. They weren't all right for a few weeks after that. It's been almost 10 years since this happened, and to this day, both my brother and our cousin will not joke about it. They get nervous anytime it is brought up and demand that we do not talk about it anymore. Is it time? Is it time? Yes, it is time. His head's itching my... Oh, no. There we go. Ooh, it's snowing out. $20 is $20. I got to think of a good song to play next time. Yes, the police car is always there every Saturday. Every Saturday. I am getting better. I am getting better. Maybe an Xmas Carol. Ooh, yeah. Yes, now that we're getting there. No, Yoko Ono. There we go. That's better. Thank you, Havvac. I didn't do it purposely. I did not do it purposely, Mindy Weeks. You know what I'm going to learn? I'm going to learn how to play Grandma Got Ran Over by the Reindeer. I will practice that all week now. All week. Flash in a pan, how are you? Throw Yoko Ono too. I'll sing that. I'll do that. I'll start doing that weird Japanese, like, whatever it is, that Japanese, like, where they make noises. You know what I mean? And they have, like, death metal. And they're like... John Zorn plays with, like, this Japanese kid that does that shit. No, not baby metal. No, it's like avant-garde. Avant-garde. So John Zorn will play like something crazy on his horn, and then the kid will like make noises like Mike Patton does. Mike Patton's done an album with the kid before. I saw a dwarf metal band. Oh my god, that is fucking great. No way, chicken. No way. All right, let me think. I think this one isn't that long, is it? I didn't think this one was that long. All right, it's going to be a long one. I do have a dwarf. Speaking of dwarfs, fuck that. I got a dwarf one. I got a scary black-eyed kid one for tonight, too. I know I have a dwarf one, like a fucking... here we go. I found it. All right. For years, I have been exploring the woods, valleys, and caves of Nova Scotia for mystery, history, and adventure. I've seen some things in my younger, less educated years that I assumed were normal because I didn't catch the nuances of mystery. I just rolled my eyes at the tales told from, I assumed was the bottom of a whiskey bottle as years passed. Well, it was about 2010 when I was around 30 when things started to make me question as I began going alone in the woods in search of caves and historical spots. Whether it was caves in limestone and gypsum in central Nova Scotia and east, or huge crevices in the basalt and granite in the Annapolis Valley. There was always something to look for or be told about by elder generations. Treasures, Acadians, Indians, and creatures of the unknown origins have all been included in things told to me. And then there were things no one told me about. I have read about an old Acadian vase along Bloody Creek at around 1880, which was then shown at the World's Fair. It was said to have been found in a cave along a shallow but wide creek upper reach near the mountain. Over the courses of weeks, I walked the creek looking for both sides up to the gravel pit that was quarrying granite gravels, and past it, up the mountain a fair way to an old power dam from the 1890s that provided electricity to a place called Paradise. It was September, and I decided to cross the creek and look in some suspected areas I had passed before. But the sun went down faster than I thought it would, so I was caught with a piece of junk key light to light up about an inch in front of me. My mind was playing tricks on me on the way back, and I kept hearing birds in the brook, but could not see anything. The following evening, I went back with a new headlamp, and upon return, seen eyes reflecting back, silvery and bobbing up and down behind a rock. I thought an animal had its family there for a drink, so I cut away and beat through the bush to avoid disturbing things. I bought a much better flashlight so I could look more after 8:30 sundown. This was my fourth time I stayed after dark, about 2 weeks after the keychain walk. Once again, I started hearing splashes in the creek following me. The splashes would stop when I turned to look, but this time there were sounds of birds chirping, a croak like a frog going on, and the eyes bobbing up and down behind sizable boulders. It was in the final stretch of the creek to the base of a small slope that went to the road my car was parked on, where things finally went insane. I had walked halfway to the slope and I noticed that it went silent, not a breeze. Even the creek sounded like it was under blankets in a muffled manner. I turned around to see what was behind me, and my world got crazier when I cranked up my new flashlight to full. Peering from behind a tree about 16 inches high was a round face with a wide mouth and round, silvery, unblinking eyes that ducked behind the tree again. To the right, near a fallen tree in plain view, stood a little humanoid that was 18 inches tall, with dark-skinned, wiry, muscular body, with long white and brown grayish hair coming off its rounded head and down to the back of its knees. A huge fluff of pubes, it looked like. It looked like hair grew from its shoulders and back as well. When it croaked out, it finally came to my senses and saw there were half a dozen of these little humanoids peeking around and walking toward me slowly, and most had what looked like sharpened sticks. I turned around, and behind me at the slope was another one with a stick, but I ran frantically toward the slope top. I turned around and saw them hiding, and how it looked with their coloration. They camouflaged right into nature so quickly. I also saw a big onion bag placed under a spruce tree filled with vegetables and packaged candy, chocolate, and spam, along with cheeses and baggies. and still mostly frozen, so it would last. I don't know. I don't know what I saw, but I knew somehow the bag of stuff would have become my garnishments as I became the main course in some cold hole in earth. They look like they had their heads very similar to where the wild things are, with rounded silvery eyes that did not blink or move. They look like silver globes in their sockets, wide mouth with thick lips, upturned noses, and the body like an African pygmy. I went home that night wondering if what I had seen was from a bump on the head I didn't know about or something. I decided to go back and look in daytime again, but I stopped and went to a different direction beside Highway 101 where it crosses over the creek. Parting the trees as I walked toward the area in question, I instantly realized it was a bone field I was walking through of a few deer and smaller animals. Many of the bones were chewed on and smashed apart. At first glance, it just looked like a spot where animals got hit by cars on the road. Cars don't leave small childlike teeth marks in porcupine bones, nor do they splinter bones on a spot 30 feet off the road, leaving them sucked dry. Cars don't, but carnivores do. Aramic, thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate that. I went back, but never alone, after I realized someone was feeding the goblins, possibly to keep things safe and left alone, as I learned may have been the case at a much later time. And I got a machete for such things. Indeed, go bump in the night and in daylight. What's up, Kimberly Flores? How are you? Aramic, thank you once again, my brother. I appreciate your love. I really do. And this one goes out to you, Aramic. This one goes out to you. Richard, thank you for the love, my friend. Thank you. This is definitely the little guy from Kid Rock. Yes, yes. Bum da da bang da bang da bang. What was his name? I forgot what his name was. Kid Rock was the man when he was younger. He had his own midget. Like, how fucking awesome is that? But that is creepy. So, what do you think? Who was feeding them? Who was feeding those little bastards? And can you imagine, like, why wouldn't you kick one? They're coming at you with little sticks. They're 18 inches high. I would boot one right. I would try to soccer ball that motherfucker. I'd be like, bloop. Yeah, the Truth Quest, minus 2 years, they said. What's up, Mike Turner? How are you? SDL. Dude, like, how scary is that though? Then he goes back to a different side of the highway and realizes that there's bones and the marrow is sucked dry. So you definitely know that, like, these little suckers are in it to win it. Jared, hey, I got some puzzle pieces I'd like to fire off to Jeff next weekend. Just missed the email. All right, I'll send you my email, brother. Hang on 1 second. DOLNY. Bop, 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 bop. Dude, I love bone marrow too. Bone marrow is delicious. Delicious. Liz, how are you? Thank you for showing back up. I appreciate you. You always make me happy when you're here. Pneumonia for 3 months. That's no joke, Liz. Has it been that long? Wow. That's crazy. Oh my God. Hey, Amber, how are you? Oh my God, I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was. My grandma used to make bone marrow soup. Have you guys ever had bone marrow soup? Yeah, it was strange, Larry. But you know what? Like I bet you like they have to hunt anyway, you know? What's up, Craigers? Kind of like bone broth, but my grandma used to yes, I did. I did not like it. It got messed up, so I had to shave it. It was worse than this. It was gonna grow in weird and just not cool. Just not cool. So I had to bite the big one and take it like a champ. Storming Alaska, no kidding. What does moose taste like? Is moose kind of taste like cow? I think it tastes like cow. Gristle stew. Holy moly. Ew. Ew, ew, ew. Gristle stew. Ew. They give me cold chills. Gamey cow. Hair does grow back fast. I'm not that worried, you know what I mean? Like I probably like in a month it'll be better and whatever, you know? That is why I only date girls 5'3" and under. Tigger is okay. Tigger is well, um, Claire, Tigger has a new roommate that lives in my daughter's room. And so he doesn't like leaving the door alone. He just sits there and stares at it. And now the kitten puts his paw under the door and Tigger smells his paw and it scares the shit out of him. Dirty dog man of the north. Howdy. I think they're going to be friends. I think they're going to be friends. Yeah, see, Glenn, I don't though. I look like a fucking penis head, I think. Speaking of kids, Shannon Brown, thank you so much. Speaking of kids, let's do a black-eyed kid story. How about that? How about that? A nice black-eyed kid story. Where I live in North Wales, there is an expansive woods right opposite of my house. One day, me and my friends went to walk my dog down there as there is a path. At the very bottom of the woods/forest, there is a giant abandoned care home without windows, no roof, an overgrown garden, no owner. Nobody lives there apart from birds, cats, etc. We decided to walk my dog, Trixie, just down to the entrance of the care home as my dog was afraid of it. She wouldn't walk any further than the driveway before she'd start to yelp and cry. My friends and I were also scared as we were 15 years old. When we got to the bottom of the woods, there was this little boy with a scruffy dog. It was a German Shepherd, to be precise. A great giant shaggy dog. At first, me and my friends took no notice of it, as when we had our first glance, we thought it was a woman, as he had his back towards us and they had long hair. He also knelt down, so it was hard to see his true size. But then my dog started to bark, and then his dog started to bark. The little boy stood up without turning to control his dog and put him on a leash. He dropped a shovel to the ground and slowly turned around to look at us. He was mumbling something, but we couldn't hear him as he was approximately 60 meters away from us. We just stood there. We didn't know what to do. My dog was practically choking herself on the leash, trying to get away. Then he looked at us. His face was pale. He had no mouth, no nose. He just had this blurry face with a pair of the deepest, darkest eyes I have ever seen. He had no pupils. Well, from what we could see, his whole eyes were pitch black, as dark as coal. It wasn't just my eyes playing tricks on me, as we had a good long stare, me and my friends and him, for 30 seconds. We all ran screaming. My dog was barking crazily. To this day, she won't step foot in those woods, not even with my dad. Creepy things go on in those woods all the time. Thank goodness I am moving shortly. Yeah. What's up, golden member? How are you? Addicted to knowledge. How are you? Ugh. Ding, ding, ding. Go. Wilburn! Wilburn! Fucking A, Wilburn's here. What's up, Wilburn? Wilburn! Fucking A. We got Liz back. Wilburn's back. I'm taking my shoes off like Mr. Rogers. Won't you be my neighbor? Hi, neighbor. Hey, Patrice, how are you? I'm seeing everybody as they're saying hi to people. Oh, it is a scorched mark, isn't it? Oh. There we go. Getting comfy now for the live stream. Do a little ball shaking. And there we go. Hi, neighbor. You know what? I think it is time. Is it time for a lot lizard story? Wilbur! Do we need a lot lizard story? I think we do. No, Mr. Rogers never covered the ball shaking scenario. I bet he talked about it, though. And it just so happens to be, Daniel, DB Mac, this is called The Legend of Lizo the Lot Lizard. And here we go. Once upon a time, in the wide open stretches of America's back roads, where the sky grew dark and the stars flickered like distant campfires, there lay a truck stop known as the Rusty Axle. This wasn't any truck stop. It was a crossroads of weary travelers, filled with grease-stained diner and a neon-lit motel. To locals, it was home to the legend of Lizo the Lot Lizard, a cryptid that sent shivers down the spines of the bravest long-haul truckers. Lizo wasn't your typical lot lizard. Word on the streets was she was born of the very essence of the open road. Some swore up and down she was a former singer, an icon with a voice that could shatter glass. Others believed she was the mischief of a truck stop witch, punishing those who dared to underestimate her allure. What everyone did agree on was that she had a heart of gold, a laugh that echoed through the night, and a knack for both terrifying and charming anyone she encountered. Every night, Lizo would emerge from the shadows under the only flickering streetlight in the lot, strutting confidently among the 18-wheelers. Her glittery clothes gleamed like the stars above. With her lavishly bright lips and a wicked grin, she would approach the cabs, asking truckers if they needed a little company. But there was something unusual about her presence. The air would grow colder and the laughter would turn into muffled whispers. Hey there, big fella. Need a little back rub or perhaps a fabulous sing-along? I'll even throw in a dance for free, she'd call out. Her voice, melodious, yet slightly unnerving. The truckers, half tempted and half terrified, would often respond with a chuckle, her bravado masking the shivers they felt at the thought of the dark tales they had heard. One fateful evening, a notorious, arrogant trucker named Buck rolled into the Rusty Axle. He boasted about having conquered more roads than anyone in the lot, and his bravado echoed like thunder. When Lizo approached him, he smirked, tipping his cap. A lot, lizard. I'm looking for something more substantial. Oh, honey, Lizo replied, her eyes twinkling with mischief. I might just be what you're looking for, but there's a price. You'll get what you pay for and a little extra to keep it interesting. Buck, intrigued and emboldened by liquid courage, agreed. Little did he know, Lizzo's extra was a wild card. As they sat in his cab, Lizo began to sing a haunting melody that sent tremors through the vehicle. Suddenly, the lights flickered, and the rhythm of the night morphed into something out of a fever dream. The shadows deepened, and ghostly images of past truckers danced in the dark, each one a victim of their own hubris. Are you scared, big fella? Lizzo crooned, twirling her fingers in the air as if beckoning the spirits. You wanted something substantial, didn't you? Buck's bravado melted away as he realized the legend was true. Lizzo wasn't just a lot lizard. She was a guardian of those roads, a fierce spirit that fed off of bravado of men like him. Desperate now, he stammered, I was just kidding. Let's just forget this, okay? With a wink, Lizzo snapped her fingers. In a flash, the world spun back to normal. The only thing that remained was the chilling laughter that echoed in Buck's ears as he sped out of the truck stop, vowing never to return. The shadowy figures faded, and Lizzo returned to her perch, a satisfied grin on her face. From that night on, stories about Lizzo traveled far and wide. She became the stuff of legends, part fearsome, part enchanting. Truckers spoke of her hushed tones, recounting the time she turned a boastful man into a mere whisper of a former self. To this day, they say if you see the flickering light at the Rusty Axle, you can be sure Lizzo's on the prowl, ready to strike fear and fun into the hearts of those who dare test their luck in the territory. And so, the legend of the lot lizard cryptid continued to grow, a symbol of caution, laughter, and the road's untamable spirit. Lizzo, both funny and fearsome, remained the queen of the night, serving with sweet melodies and spine-tingling tales to anyone brave enough to listen. Yes, sir. Lizzo the Lot Lizard. You like that 159th? That was a good one. Thanks, Janie. I had to do a little different, you know? Emma Kirby, or M. Kirby, have a good night. Call it a legend, baby. It continued to grow. That's what she said, Bronze. That's what she said. I do have a Dogman story, DB Mac. I will do a man lot lizard. I was thinking of one. I was really thinking of one, but I couldn't get it. I didn't have a lot of time today. Chicken man. Jesus Christ. Ugh. There we go. I'm getting all sorts of comfy now. There. Oh, let's see what I got for you. Let's see what I got for you. That's a good one. We'll do that in a minute. Let me find. I got a lot of good ones tonight, actually. That one, that one, that one. Before I end the night, remind me to do the Lake Vermilion one. Oh, that one's good. That one's scary. Have you ever danced with the devil and taken up a topic and reach into my hands? Reach into my hands. Here we go. All right. This one's a little longer. Let's turn this chat room green. Haha, Aramic, you are fucking awesome. I love you. Cheers to Chow. Hi, how are you? Is it snowing in Connecticut yet, Janie? Actually, the lady from Bumpus Mills called me the other day, Blake Baker. I talked to her 3 days ago. Lily, how are you? I really enjoy your uploads, but these lives are just so-so. I guess so, Mark. Not yet, flurries. You guys think our lives are just so-so? I think our lives are fucking awesome. What's up, Josh Hoffman? Right on, SDL. All right, this one's kind of long, I guess, so it's going to be real long. Oh, there it is. Grandma's talking shit now. I knew someone was gonna. New to your channel. Nice to come across. Well, thank you, Renee. Glad that you're here with us. Yeah, you can't be serious 24/7. Our lives what make like this channel real. I don't talk drama. I'm not a fucking crybaby. I'm just having fun with you guys. We're all real people. All right. This one's kind of long. It's Dogman and other shit incorporated into it. I used to live all over Southern California area. I grew up there when I lived in Corona, California, which is in Riverside County. I had an experience that I cannot to this day explain. This happened 2003 on the southbound 15 freeway by Cleveland National Forest. I was driving in the fast lane and something huge started to run out in front of my car coming from the left. I hit whatever this thing was with the left front corner of my car. I didn't even have time to react. For the split second that I saw it out of the side view of my eye, it looked like it had fur of a coyote, which was blackish in color with white or gray fur. I say fur because it was all covered. After I hit it, I looked in my rearview mirror and I saw what looked like a huge coyote. Lily Lewis, thank you. I remember seeing just half of the side back of its right side and large leg like it was running standing up. I immediately got to a safe area and got off the freeway so I could park and not only check out my car, but I was just unable to even think about what that thing was. When I checked the front end of my car, there was blood on the corner left driver's side of the bumper and a small bit of hair or fur. Since my car seemed to be okay, I got back onto the freeway in the opposite direction and went home. When I got home, I had more light in the garage, so I grabbed some paper towels and pulled the fur and hair off the bumper, which was lodged in between the crack of the bumper. It really looked like fur to me and not hair. Josh Hoffman, thank you so much, brother. It was similar to dog hair. Now, going back to the area where this happened, if you get a map, it is on 15 freeway going south. The Cleveland National Forest is just on the other side of the fence and across a road called the Temskel Canyon Road. The road is in most spots at that time is very empty and not many houses or business. It's also close to Calicoa Road, which goes up a hill into Lake Matthew in Paris. I still have no idea what that was. My ex-husband grew up on George Air Force Base in Victorville, California, which is also in San Bernardino, California, just south of Barstow. His father was a lifelong military veteran and one of those who was very old school. If my ex ever questioned his dad, immediately told him to shut up, don't talk about that shit. His mother was a radiology tech, and she was the one who noticed that his dad always had a sticker on his uniform when he got home from work. She confronted his father about it because it was a radiation sticker. His father also yelled at his mother and told her never to talk about it. Now, I was with my ex for over 20 years. We still live together because I am chronically ill and disabled, and he is also chronically ill, so we help each other. In all of my years with him, he has always told me he saw a lot of things out there on and around the base that he cannot explain, and there was no way he would ask his dad about it because his dad was very physically abusive to him and his brother. Recently, my ex has told me some of his experiences, and you were the only person I could think of to tell. My ex-husband and his friends grew up in the 80s back in Victorville and Apple Valley area, were also sparse when it came to people living there. They didn't have police departments there. You would have to call San Bernardino County Sheriff. My ex and his friends also spent a large amount of time in the surrounding areas of Death Valley, 29 Palms, the Mojave Desert, basically, and the backside of San Bernardino Valley, or San Bernardino Mountains on the north side of Silverwood Lake and Deep Creek Springs area, and also in Lucerne Valley. They also went to many of the old mines out there in the Mojave. He said one time they had an old car and they pushed it into one of the many holes they had found. He said they were all amazed at how long it took for the car to hit the bottom. My ex and his friends were sort of like hellions out there because he said there really wasn't anything to do except explore and do stupid things like that. He was in his late teens and 20s at the time of these experiences. Recently, he began to tell me more stories with more details. He said one time he was exploring an old mine and he heard a noise behind him. When he looked, he said all he could see was these eyes that were much bigger than a human eye, and he got scared and ran out of the mine as fast as he could. There are many stories from others about people seeing reptilian-type creatures, for a lack of a better way to describe it. Many believe, including the Algonquin Native Americans, who have been in the area for who knows how long, that the reptilians who used to live in tunnels under Los Angeles migrated up from the Mojave Desert, and there were also these creatures before that. My ex also spoke about things he saw on the base itself. He didn't get specific on this part at all. I could tell it was still to this day bothers him. Now, my ex-husband is 6'1" and weighs 225, and he is about the same back then, except his weight was more around 270 to 300. He was very strong. I once saw him lift an entire back end of a 2010 Nissan Frontier completely off the ground. I had to ask him if he remembered if at any time he had any missing time or strange things that happened to him while he was on the base as a kid or teenager. He thought about it, and he said there was some missing time he couldn't remember, and he had seen some very strange things, but he said he never wanted to talk about the details. My ex is not the person who likes to tell stories. He is very old school, and he firmly believes and lives by the type of code, such as you keep your mouth shut, don't snitch on others, etc. To this day, he is very respected by people in all of those communities, and honestly, some people have told me they do fear him. When I asked why, they said it's because they know he doesn't play games and he says what he means and means what he says. I'm telling you all of this because it has come to my attention that there is now stories being told about Dogman type creature in San Bernardino area. And in the area, there is an old Norton Air Force base, which I actually used to go to frequently as I worked for a company that leased land there for minerals. We had. I will enclose some photos. There is a man who was saying he was in the area and the government was dumping homeless people out in these areas. There have been witnesses who say there is a creature out there that looks like a dog and a man combined, and the creature is feeding on the homeless. I am very interested if you have ever heard of any reports like this. I have, and I've shared the guy that talked about it. We know there are so many unexplained things in these areas. When we lived by the lake in 2013, we witnessed something in the sky that we couldn't explain. It was hovering over San Bernardino Mountain. Actually, hang on. Approximately over Big Bear area. It had no sound. There were green and white lights on it, and it would shoot across the sky faster than anything I had ever seen out there, and then all of a sudden just disappear, like it was there, and then it was gone. We also saw a flatbed tow truck on 15 freeway heading north, and it got off in the direction of Edwards Air Force Base. There was a huge tarp covering whatever was on that flatbed, but when the wind blew up a corner of the tarp, we saw what looked like some sort of spacecraft. It sounds super corny, but it did look similar to the classic flying saucer type craft that we'd see on TV and shows talking about UFOs in the 40s and 50s. There have also been sightings of a Bigfoot-like creature around San Bernardino Mountains and the Yucca Man out in 29 Palms, Yucca Valley area. It's no secret to locals at all. Many of us believe there are creatures out there that none of us can explain. Some people refuse to just go back out there into the Mojave because of what they saw. My ex also said when he and two of his friends were walking out to Deep Creek area, they were stopped by San Bernardino County sheriffs. My ex and his friends explained that they were just walking up past Deep Creek hot springs to explore. The deputy then told them the point where they were the furthest law enforcement would go, and that if my ex and his friends kept going past that point, something would happen to them out there. No one would be able to find them. When my ex asked him why, the deputy said there are people and other things out there that are very dangerous, and law enforcement was actually told by their commanding officers not to ever go past this point. My ex and his friends were teenagers at this time, and they were definitely the type with whatever attitude, and obviously did not want to listen to the deputy. My ex said he had continued to walk further for a while. They started seeing these people popping up from behind bushes and yelling at them to stop. My ex and his friends stopped, and before they knew it, they were surrounded by these people. The people told them that they were trespassing on their land, and that if they wanted to go any further, my ex and his friends needed to pay them. My ex and his friends told them they had a small amount of marijuana and $2 in cash and some food stamps. Back then, they were actually food stamps, not an EBT. The people agreed to take all of it and let them pass. My ex is very good at talking to people, and that's mostly because he is a psychic medium / empath. He was able to talk to them and ask them who they were. They told him they were the Manson family kids. They said they moved out there after Manson and his followers were caught and they couldn't stay out in Death Valley anymore. They wanted to be away from society, and they wanted those from society to stay away from them. My ex said they talked for a bit, and these people also told them they had sightings of strange things out here. Some claim to have seen Bigfoot as well as other kinds of creatures. It has taken years to talk about this. My ex trusts me with his secrets and told me never to tell anyone, and I never did until now. The reason why I'm telling you this is because I really do believe there is maybe something in San Bernardino area doing something to these homeless people who have disappeared. And in some cases, I do believe some human remains have been found of people who were dumped out there. If there is any of you could or would be interested in having this investigated, I think that would be a good thing. People out there are scared. They want to know what is really going on. We used to take long drives out on 15 freeway to the west, take 138 east, and make a big loop around the whole area. With my ex and I both being psychics and empaths, we also felt the sense that we were being watched out there. And it was definitely not a place you would want to drive through at night. Richard, thank you so much. Let me just scan through. Welcome. I'm currently well above it in Big Bear. Blue Days, thank you. MJ Bates, thank you so much. Richard and Aramic and Larry Lindman, you guys have been awesome tonight. I appreciate it. Not for a little bit, Darren. Probably I'm going to try this week sometime. Brother. Like a month ago, Bronze. Like a month ago. He's doing well. Rockin' steady. What's going on? Yeah. They finally did. They finally did decide to let the old people in. Rockin' steady. In my fat face. No, you gave me the 20 subscriber or 20 members right in the beginning, Lindman. That's why I thanked you. On the 5th, Jeannie. On the 5th. Well, thank you, SDL. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. All right. So in Alaska, we all know that Alaska has the largest missing people, reports of missing people in like one general vicinity, a lot of UFO activity. the Headless Valley, the Wahila. I mean, all that is in that area, but there's other shit up there. And this one freaked the fuck out of me because it does just happen to fall into the Alaskan Triangle. Andy Davis, have a good night, buddy. I appreciate you. Hey, Jeff, somebody other than myself sent you an image. Could you share this with me, please? I don't know what you mean. The pigs, Aramik, is that what you mean? When I have Darren on, I'm going to do an interview with Darren and have him, we're going to have to sit down and talk about I'm going to do, okay. I'm going to do an interview with Darren K too, because last week, that Texas experience, he lives in that area. So, I wanted to share this with you because of Alaska being so strange. This one is really, really interesting to me. Lisa Merrill lived in Homer, Alaska between 2013 and 2018, and in that time, she observed numerous bizarre creatures. The house she lived in on a small street was surrounded by tall trees, which of most have since died or were chopped down. One night, she was in her room hanging out with her boyfriend. She had noticed strange movement and asked to use his binoculars. I'm assuming she had noticed something previously and requested him to bring them over. When she looked through the binoculars toward the trees, she spotted something strange. A little man hopping from tree to tree. It seemed to be dancing about in the trees. She noted that it didn't seem to be worried about gravity, falling, nothing. It was just hopping around. A month later, she started to notice more of these creatures. Eventually, it got to be in the hundreds. She feared she may be losing her mind since nobody else was seeing it. Her boyfriend didn't initially believe her until one night he saw them himself. She further noticed that the trees they would hop around in were slowly starting to die. She began to suspect that these creatures climbing on them were somehow causing the trees to die. When she returned to the location in 2021 with a crew from the Discovery Channel while shooting a TV show Aliens in Alaska, she was shocked to see the patch of forest near her old home was now dead. The trees were rotten and black. I don't know what they were, but I don't think they were from here. I think they might have been aliens, she told the producers of the show. In 2018, partially because of the strange incidents around her home, she and her family decided to move to Kodiak. She has not seen them since. As an artist, she drew these creatures she remembered. Curiously, they seemed to look like crawlers. So, obviously, if you've been with the channel, I think crawlers are a genetic creature or genetic creation created by aliens as some sort of protection for the Greys, the reptilians, and these little suckers. So it'd make a little sense if they had like some sort of radiation sickness to cause trees and shit to die. Because if you ever notice, like, there's a few videos online about crawlers, like when that kid, he was out in the woods and he could hear the noise, and they kept seeing this crawler in this one tree, and the tree looks dead, completely dead. That's what I think, storm in Alaska, 100%. But it was weird because when I talked to Laura Eisenhower, and I had brought up crawlers, and she has like a mixed review. People like her and people don't like her. I didn't seem to mind her. I thought she was a decent person. I enjoyed talking to her. I just thought it was kind of weird that, she didn't know what a crawler was. And then I explained to her and showed her a picture of one. and explained like my belief that they were created by reptilians and or the Greys as like, because the Greys work for the reptilians technically as their like little gnomes or whatever, little worker bees. So they need protection. And I think like the crawler is like a genetic cross between a reptilian and a Grey. Larry. Brown snake. I've had 3 different experiences from people in Alaska with Nephilim. So yeah. Hey, Sonny, the wandering gypsy. How are you? Oh yeah, this is the one I wanted to share. My pop told me of an experience he and his twin sister had when they were kids. My grandmother's house was in a forested area on the outskirts of Louisville, Kentucky, and they would walk through the woods as a shortcut to any given direction. One day, when they were walking home through the woods, they reached the tree line to their backyard. In their backyard, my pop saw what he described as an all red, 7 foot tall, half man, half bull type creature, like the Minotaur from Greek mythology. He said that it was a red creature. It had the upper body of a man with curved horns on its head, the lower body, 2 hairy legs with hooves. He said that this monster was snorting, snarling, and beating its hooves on the ground like it was going to charge them, that it was obviously evil and wanted to hurt them. He told my aunt that they needed to get out of here quickly, but he was so shocked when she said it was cute and she wanted to pet it. My aunt was seeing the same creature, but was seeing something completely different. She said the creature was calling for her and looked so nice that she wanted to pet it. My pop refused and forced her away. This is the part in every scary movie that you call person an idiot because you can't be that stupid. My pop has never one to tell me ghost stories, but I always choke it up as that. A few years after he told me, I visited my aunt. I always thought about that experience and wanted my aunt to bust the story saying that it was fake or 1 in a million chance. When I asked her about it, my pop was not in the room. She mirrored every single thing that my pop said. She told me everything that my pop said and everything she saw. She described the creature as being all red and cute. It was a really big WTF moment for me because I believed them. Also, because it sounded terrifying. My pop is a very logical, God fearing man, and my aunt was a very honest, sweet woman. She was actually murdered in LA in 2016. So just writing about her makes it kind of emotional due to her being my pops' best friend and obviously my aunt. My pops thinks they saw 2 different things because he had just accepted Jesus into his life and she had not yet. Other than that, he has no idea. They never saw it after that day. That makes sense, though. Oh, do something. What's up? How are you? What's up, Buster? Yeah, yeah. I don't know if you caught. I think it was. Yeah, Rampage. I agree. It was sad. I don't know if you caught the upload that I did a couple of weeks ago, but it was I talked about all of the places where skeleton remains of giants were found in the United States and actually worldwide. I think that the reason why he saw like that demonic like creature was because he had accepted Jesus and saw it for its true form. And his aunt had not yet. So she saw something totally different. And maybe it showed itself as being cute and cuddly to manipulate her so she wouldn't accept Jesus. I don't know. Yeah, I actually tried to share the Fresno Nightcrawler video, but I got hit with a strike for some reason. Went to Rome this past Monday, drove through that John LaPume. That is the western part of the Adirondacks. Upstate New Yorkers don't consider that the Adirondacks, even though it's part of, because it doesn't connect to our part of the Adirondacks, but it is pretty desolate out that way. Yes. Yeah, Wayne. Yep. Rockin' Steady's crashing, or is Jane crashing? Or not Jane, Liz. Liz, are you crashing? Oh, Rockin' Steady is. Rockin' Steady, have a good night, buddy. Don't let your meat loaf. I think you're right 100%, Aramik. I think you are right 100%. Not tonight, SDL. Not tonight. I live way out in the country in the forest of East Texas with my 19-year-old daughter and my 8-year-old grandson. Holy shit, she had him early. She had him at 11? Is that legal? I live way out in the country in the forest of East Texas with my 19-year-old daughter and my 8-year-old grandson. I still can't get over that. What the fuck, man? It's not legal. Anyway, my mother and my wife live with us, but we lost my mother in August of 2018 to liver failure. And then we lost my wife in November 2018 due to complications of a stroke and pneumonia. So now it's just us. One night, not too long ago, we were coming back from town. It was about 10:30 p.m. and out where we live, there are no streetlights. I had just passed the cemetery and was coming up to the railroad crossing that is about a quarter of a mile from the turnoff to our house. I was slowing down to cross the tracks. At my 1 o'clock position, I saw a man just standing at the railroad crossing. He looked like he might have been anywhere from his late to early 20s. He was wearing a gray hoodie and jean jacket with dark pants. He had shoulder-length dark hair. I thought that it was an odd place to be standing, but what did I care? As I crossed the tracks, my headlights hit him full on, and I was less than 10 feet from him. I could have sworn he did not have a face. No nose, no eyes, no mouth, no features at all. Just a blank gray place where his face should be. I did do a double take, but by that time I had passed him and it was dark. Surely I must have imagined it. Surely. Then my daughter, who was in the passenger seat and even closer to him when we passed, turned to me, white as a sheet. She asks, "Did you see the guy by the crossing? He didn't have a face." I don't know what to make of it. I certainly wasn't going back to investigate with my daughter and my grandson in the car. When I got to our gate, you could make out the railroad crossing, but I could not see if he was there still. I made the sign of the cross, got out to open the gate, and kept my 9mm in my hand. I have not seen this weird guy since that night. That's fucking creepy. I don't know if I'm more creeped out by the guy with no face or his daughter being 11 and having a kid. I don't know what the fuck? Like, dude, what the fuck? Like, I have fucking 2 daughters, man. Like, 19. And she has an 8-year-old. I was still playing with G.I. Joe guys when I was 11. Shit. Maybe, but he would I think he would say the other daughter. I mean, I would because I wouldn't want the confusion. Right before Christmas 2020, Shannon Rogers had moved into a new house by the lake. The exact location is undisclosed, somewhere in the United States Southwest. Madison Rogers, her daughter, and her boyfriend helped her move in. Shannon also had a young son named Jamie. Previous owners had left some items, including a guitar and a Christmas tree ornament. Right away, Shannon began to hear Jamie talking to an imaginary friend. Other strange ornaments began occurring, and she sensed the house was haunted. She assumed that it was a spirit of the previous owner, an elderly woman. Her daughter did not believe in any of it. One night, Shannon heard a music box playing on its own. Various incidents involving this music box playing on its own and loud bangs began to happen more regularly. One day, she saw her son playing. She could see wet footprints leading into the living room area. As she entered the room, she observed a ghostly, dripping, wet little girl standing behind the table. She vanished. Another day, she entered one of the rooms and saw a man with long hair sitting on the bed. When she asked who the man was, he told her that his sister could have his guitar and that he was sorry and that he had taken his own life, and the man faded out. Shannon investigated and found that a young girl had drowned in a lake nearby just years prior. Also, a man had taken his own life in this house. She reached out to a psychic who told her to give the guitar to his sister. With the help of the landlord, she was able to track her down and give her the guitar. A few nights later, while lying in bed, she went to check on her son and observed a strange demonic-looking entity standing in his room. According to the psychic, the life-taking had opened a portal in the home, allowing multiple spirits to move through. Shannon and a friend were able to close it, but something remained in the house and momentarily possessed Shannon. Sometime later, Madison and her boyfriend, Ed, got laid off and they were forced to move in and save money. Right away, Madison's boyfriend began to act weird. Shannon awoke one night to see Ed sitting at the dining room table. He was behaving strangely. Madison thinks something attached itself to him. Later, Shannon was levitated in her bed, which was witnessed by Madison, who was also pulled out of the room by her feet by an invisible force. Madison had moved out. Jamie went to live with Shannon's mom. While at the house, now alone, the banging increased, and Shannon asked the creature to show itself, and it did. She looked up to see it standing in her hallway. It appeared to be a humanoid figure with long Spock-like ears and bat-like arms and wings. It appeared almost bird-like. Its face terrified her. Shannon decided to move and now lives in an RV. She tours the country as a paranormal investigator now. Fire horse! Sorry I didn't say hi to you. Good night, Tina Marie. You always have to be Lake 17. Absolutely, 100%. How are you, Fire horse? All right, so I just got to ask, is anybody a little nervous about what's going on with all right, is anybody yes with the quote unquote World War III? I think it's kind of coincidental that all of this has happened now. Like, we're so close to, it just, I don't know. Like, I don't know how I feel about it, But I guess maybe, like, I don't know. I wasn't old enough. I don't remember. Obviously, I was born in 76, so I was born after the Cold War. But I remember, like, asking my mom, like, in the 90s and shit, how scary it was to live in that time. And I'm scared. Like, I'm scared for my kids. Like, I don't know how to talk to my kids about this. But it's scary, dude. Fuck. I just hope that if there are aliens, which I know there are, I just hope they fucking stop whatever's going to happen. I really do. All right. I think it's time for a lot lizard story to get our mood up. Yeah, I am too. We do have God, and I pray every night about it. I really, really do. I don't think the aliens script a nuclear war. They don't want it. They don't want to have a nuclear war. The aliens definitely didn't script that. Absolutely, Windhammer. Absolutely. All right. Lot lizard story to lighten the mood. Here we go. It was a motionless night when Hank, a grizzled trucker with a penchant for greasy burgers and bad coffee, rolled up into the Back Crater rest stop, a notorious haunt for weary souls on the road. Neon lights flickered ominously overhead, casting eerie shadows across the cracked pavement. The rest stop was known for two things: its questionable hygiene and its infamous lot lizard. A cryptid allegedly roamed the presence. The legend of Black Crater Lot Lizard, a creature featuring the body of a shapely woman in the face of a possum, had spread across the truck stop with wildfire. Truckers exchanged tales about her. Some said she was the unfortunate result of an experiment gone wrong. Others claimed she was cursed by a disgruntled witch, doomed to haunt the rest stop for eternity. Hank was skeptical. Sure, lot lizard sounded horrible, but he dismissed it as making great campfire stories. As he pulled into the lot, he spread the smells of old leather and stale fast food that wafted from his rig. He planned to stretch his legs, grab a coffee, if they dared call it coffee, and possibly the infamous 3-day-old pizza before hitting the road again. Little did he know that tonight was not going to be a typical pit stop. Hank exited the cab and sauntered toward the diner. The flickering lights created an unsettling strobe effect, but he shrugged it off. Slowly, he approached the door, pulling it open with a creak that reminded him of a cheap horror flick. Inside, the diner was nearly empty, save for a couple of other truckers. Unbeknownst to him, they were huddled together, whispering about the lot lizard. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from the restrooms. Hank jumped, spilling the last sip of his coffee on his worn jeans. A group of truckers snickered. One of them whispered, "She's here." "Who's here?" Hank asked, annoyed by the ludicrous cackles. "Lot lizard," one of them snorted. "You'd better watch out, or she'll take more than you get. Then she'll take more than your dignity." "Oh, come on, guys," Hank scoffed. "You believe in that nonsense? I'm not afraid of some overcooked myth." Just then, the door swung open with a loud bang, and there she was. The lot lizard, or rather the cryptid enchantress of the night. She stood before him, a woman's body adorned with an assortment of mismatched clothing, giving him an eccentric look. Face, though, was unmistakably that of a raccoon, dark, beady eyes glinting with mischief and a wide, toothy grin. "Hey there, big fella," she said in a sultry voice. "You need some company?" Hang on a second. How to do this. "You need some company?" Hank blinked, taken back by her appearance. Looking to unload some baggage," she winked. Her tail swooshed behind her like a playful cat. In that moment, Hank felt both horrified and oddly amused. He couldn't shake the image of the creature from his mind. A mixture of laughter and terror babbled. "Lady," laughed uneasily, "if you're here to sell something, I'll have to pass. I got enough problems already, especially with my truck." "Aw, come on, just one night." She leaned in a little closer. Her whiskers brushed against his chin. "Guaranteed to give you a ride of your life." Hank's stomach clenched. Maybe from fear, perhaps from laughing too hard. But before he could reply, she spotted something behind him. "Hey, is that a rat?" she squealed. Her attention darted away from Hank. Instinctively, he turned to look over his shoulder just in time to see another trucker scarfing down a leftover burger, obviously to the commotion. "Aw, rat," she screeched, darting back 2 steps, as if very rodents of hell had manifested before her. Before long, other truckers were laughing hysterically. The diner erupted into chaos. Lot Lizard started weaving her arms dramatically, pretending to be scared of a rat, while Hank doubled over, roaring in laughter. "Oh, come on," another trucker shouted between laughs. "Run for your lives." Just then, Hank seized an opportunity. "Look out, lady," he yelled, pointing. "I think I saw a burger hiding in the corner." With that, the lot lizard squealed again, her instinct showing as she leapt onto the table, almost knocking over a pitcher of water. The other truckers cracked up. Hank, still laughing, knew he had the most ridiculous story to tell when he reached the next truck stop. By the time the commotion settled, the lot lizard stood atop the table, arms crossed, grinning in defeat. All right. I'll let y'all live for now, but I'll be back for you truckers." She sauntered away, her tail waving like a banner of weirdness. Hank finally caught his breath. He glanced around at the other truckers, who were still giggling as they collected themselves. "Any bets if she does come back?" one trucker said, slapping his friend back. "I'll take that bet," Hank said, cackling to himself. "I hope she brings a friend next time. We could use some more entertainment." They all erupted into laughter, and Hank couldn't help but feel that maybe, just maybe, the Black Crater's cryptid lot lizard wasn't a monster everyone feared, but rather a strange, hilarious little twist of the night that broke the monotony of the open road. As he finished his coffee and collected himself, Hank knew 1,000 miles might separate him from home, but here at the Black Crater rest stop, he had made some of the weirdest friends. All right. Last encounter of the night. In 2016, I lived in East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, and worked in Palmyra. I worked the late shift, so I'd get out of work at 10 p.m. One night I was heading home late because of overtime. I think it was 1 a.m. I was driving down the road at these coordinates: location, sighting 40, 53, 23 north, 75, 30, 55 west. I saw two red dots of light far away, but they seemed to be approaching my car quickly. I slowed down, and suddenly these massive bat or dragon like leather wings came gliding with a single flap just over my car. Aramic, thank you so much. This one goes out to you, brother. It was so surreal and happened so quickly, but I didn't see its face or body details. It was a new moon, and there was only my headlights out there. I slammed on the brakes and got out, but it's just total darkness. And this thing was black. I'd say its wingspan was 10 to 11 feet. I've even seen a condor before, and it was pretty much that size, just massive. But I could hear it flying away after I stopped and got out. There was no moonlight, so I couldn't see it, but it sounded like when you spread a sheet out on the bed and throw a tarp over something. I've only told a couple people, but I figure I might as well share this. Writing this out and sharing this has actually helped me. I'm willing to consider a possibility. It just seemed larger than 5.5 feet, one wing. I'd say maybe 7 now. I had nothing to gauge its size with. The wings did look leathery because the reflection of my headlights on the preened black wing, with lack of white feathers or feathers of a turkey vulture. I would also explain why the red ears or red eyes were so near the road as it flew above my car. All right. I am going to call it a night on this one because I am beat. Aramic, I want to thank you. Richard, thank you. Larry Lemon, thank you guys. I want to thank all of you guys for hanging out with me tonight. And thank you for picking on my new haircut because it was fun. But I am just, I'm actually really tired, so I need to get some sleep. 2-hour live stream. Next week on the 30th will be longer because I might not be doing one on the 7th. All right. So love you guys, and I'll see you next week. Have a good night.